This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Roxas. On the Scorecard tonight, today's games produced quite a shakeup in the NBA's Western Conference. Personal reasons made Christian Standhardinger hang up his playing jersey. Then we'll have a chat with the hardest working Señorito ever, Mr. Jake De Leon. All that and more on the Scorecard tonight, the 28th of November. Now, here's our roundup. Phil Am Jalen Green's season-high 41 points led the Houston Rockets to a 122-115 overtime win against the Philadelphia 76ers. Green was efficient, shooting 12 for 20 from the field and adding 13 free throws. Alperen Sengun contributed 22 points and 14 rebounds, dominating in overtime with key layups. Amen Thompson added 19 points and 13 rebounds, while Tari Easton scored 14 points off the bench. In overtime, the Rockets went on a decisive 9-0 run led by Sengun. Houston's strong rebounding helped offset their struggles from beyond the arc. The 76ers, missing Joel Embiid and Paul George due to injuries, relied heavily on Tyrese Maxey, who scored 39 points. Top rookie Jared McCain added 15. Maxey forced overtime with 3 free throws but was scoreless in the extra period. The 76ers struggled defensively, highlighting their depth issues. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led the Oklahoma City Thunder to a 105-101 victory over the Stephen Curry-less Warriors, scoring 35 points and hitting crucial shots in the final moments. Isaiah Joe and Isaiah Hartenstein also contributed significantly for the Thunder. The Warriors, despite strong efforts from Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green, are now on a 3-game losing streak. Curry had to be rested due to knee soreness. With this game and the win earlier by the Houston Rockets, the Golden State Warriors have slipped to 3rd place in the Western Conference, with the Rockets moving up to 2nd and the Thunder on top. Head coach Steve Kerr went small due to Curry's absence, and while the adjustment did not pay off as hoped, Coach Kerr remains confident that the team's defense and their ability to recover over the long season. In other games, Duncan Robinson dropped a season-high 22 points in the Miami Heat's 98-94 win over the Charlotte Hornets. Then, fresh off the $100,000 fine for sitting out Trae Young, the Atlanta Hawks stunned the East-leading Cleveland Cavaliers 135-124. Trae Young not only played but had a double-double, 20 points, and his career-high 22 assists. In the PBA, Christian Standhardinger, the 35-year-old Filipino-German center/power forward, has announced his retirement from professional basketball. After being traded from Barangay Ginebra to Terra Firma Jeep in July this year, Standhardinger suffered a knee injury that kept him sidelined for most of the PBA Governor's Cup. Today, he informed Terra Firma management of his decision to retire, choosing not to complete his contract. The PBA Commissioner's Office will now handle the case. The Elections Committee of the Philippine Olympic Commission junked a petition filed by presidential candidate Joaquin Chito Loizaga's group to disqualify incumbent Abraham Bambol Tolentino from running. The petition was based on failure to file annual financial statements and a potential conflict of interest, since POC President Tolentino is also the mayor of Tagaytay City. The committee, chaired by attorney Teddy Calao IV, decided to exclude Executive Board candidate Romel Miranda from the list of candidates, as Mr. Miranda is no longer the Secretary General of the Courage Sports Federation of the Philippines. The POC Elections Committee include Philippine Sports Commission Commissioner Olivia Bongco and Colegio de San Juan de Letran President and Rector Father Napoleon Encarnacion from the Order of Preachers. The elections for the POC's new officers will be tomorrow. Abraham Bambol Tolentino is seeking a fresh 4-year term as president. He's being challenged by Joaquin Chito Loizaga, currently the Philippine Amateur Baseball Association president. Now for our daily dose of sports lingo. Also known as submission, a tap-out is usually a combat sports fighter's decision when the fighter, likely in a joint lock or chokehold, gives a short, oftentimes forceful tap-tap on the floor or the opponent. It means he or she yields, concedes defeat, resigns, gives up. The winner by default then loosens the hold, sometimes not, and moves to the farther neutral corner until the announcement. It's time for our off-court buzzer. After the Las Vegas Grand Prix, Ferrari's team principal Fred Vasseur addressed the tension between drivers Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Sainz finished third and Leclerc fourth, leading to frustration for Leclerc, who felt Sainz ignored team orders not to overtake after a pit stop. The dispute arose when Sainz seemingly ignored team orders, overtook Leclerc to secure the final podium position. Leclerc expressed his frustration with an outburst over the radio. Leclerc later apologized but firmly declared to focus only on himself for the remaining races in Qatar and Abu Dhabi. Vasseur made it clear that Ferrari demands teamwork to secure their position in the Constructors' Championship. They are currently trailing McLaren by 24 points. Despite initial tensions, reports suggest that Vasseur's message was well received and that both drivers have agreed to cooperate for the remaining races. Ferrari aims to secure their first championship title since 2008. The Notorious is living up to the moniker, but a civil court's verdict has significantly impacted Conor McGregor. Miss Nikita Hand accused him of brutally raping and battering her after a Christmas night out in 2018. The jury awarded her €248,603.60, or almost 16 million pesos in damages. McGregor has stated that he plans to appeal the verdict. While McGregor's world, or at least his financial world, is crumbling, Conor McGregor will no longer be the face of proper number 12 Irish whiskey after being found liable in a sexual assault case. Proper number 12, which McGregor co-founded in 2018, announced it would no longer associate with him. McGregor sold his stake in 2021 but remained the brand's public face. Proximo Spirits, the current owner, confirmed that they will not use McGregor's name or likeness in future marketing. Likewise, numerous retailers have decided to stop stocking products associated with him. Additionally, video game developer IO Interactive has also pulled out McGregor's character in its games. Moreover, a gym in Galway painted over a mural of McGregor and posted it on TikTok. The mural, which had been on the gym's entrance wall since 2017, depicted McGregor at UFC 194, where he knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds to win the title. The gym shared a video of the mural being painted over, captioned with a mockery of McGregor's famous quote, "The double champ does not, in fact, do what he wants." Meanwhile, Dee Devlin, McGregor's partner of 15 years, defended him on Instagram, stating that they dealt with these issues privately years ago and have emerged stronger. She emphasized their trust and love and asserted that no one has the right to comment on their relationship. McGregor also issued a statement apologizing to Devlin and expressing his intention to appeal the decision. This case has drawn significant public attention, with both Devlin and McGregor addressing their supporters and critics through social media. And that's our roundup for tonight, the 28th of November. When we return, get ready for an exclusive sit-down with one of Philippine wrestling's brightest stars, Jake De Leon. So watch out for that when we return here on The Scorecard. He is a man who's been lighting up the PWR scene and representing Filipino talent on the global stage. With us here tonight on The Scorecard, he goes by many names: the Señorito, the Filipino Fighting Rooster. Let's just bring him in, Mr. Jake De Leon. All right.
Thank you for having me, Anton. Thank you for having me. Hello po. Magandang gabi.
JDL in the house. Have a seat, brother.
Thank you.
I like it, I like it. You got the shirt on,
course,
Puso
gotta rep
Wrestling.
Puso Wrestling, yeah.
You got your own headband on, the rooster. Okay, marami tayong pag-uusapan. Big weekend in
Yes.
sports. Maraming ganap. You have the UAP cheer dance competition.
Oh.
You got the UAP Final Four. You got the NCAA Finals. And of course, big event coming up, Puso Wrestling. Tell us about it.
Puso Wrestling is gonna have its last show of the year, Puso Wrestling Pusong Pinoy, on November 30 at Brawl Pit Bulusan in QC. So we're gonna have an amazing show. We're gonna have our first ever Pusong Pinoy Wrestling Champion. It's either gonna be Main Max or Aaron Liwanag. I'm not sure if they're gonna show the graphic, but yes. We're also gonna have me in an international three-way match. I'm going to be going up against a champion, actually a wrestling champion coming from Japan in Shigehiro Irie. Also the pioneer, the father of wrestling as it was in Dubai in the UAE, Shaheen of the Sky. So it's going to be an interesting match. I'm going to be repping the Filipino flag, and I hope that a lot of people watch, and I hope we bring the Pinoy pride with us.
Mabigat, mabigat. Ayan, there it is,
3
there
days
it
to
is.
go.
So,
Well, 2
ayan,
days
no?
to go na lang.
Grabe yung mga kalaban mo, mga bigate, no? Mga talagang galing pa sa ibang bansa.
Yep.
All right. So, we'll talk about this later on in our conversation, but we want to get to know you first. Saan ba nagsimula yung wrestling journey mo? Was wrestling like from the jump, hilig mo na talaga? Or were you an athlete in another sport prior to becoming a wrestler?
Well, from the jump, hilig ko na talagang wrestling.
Okay,
I
okay.
was 4 years old. I saw, not to the knowledge of my parents, I saw a bloodied Stone Cold on TV.
Naabutan mo pa.
RPN
Okay.
9. So that time, yeah.
RPN 9.
So I was watching that. Every time they would tell me to not watch it, I would just sneak out of my room like at 9 p.m. So mahilig na talaga ako sa wrestling. But before that, I was also a multi-sport athlete. I played basketball. I tried getting into soccer and everything. My main sport became badminton. Started playing in high school, all
Okay.
of the way until college. And then after I graduated from college, started working, didn't really feel very motivated in life. And then I found out about this wrestling group on Facebook where they were just fans, but they all wanted to try out in training in pro wrestling. And from then on, that became the first promotion in the modern renaissance of Pinoy wrestling, which is Philippine Wrestling Revolution.
Philippine Wrestling Revolution.
Yes.
So that was 10 years ago.
10 years
Tama ba?
ago,
10
yes.
years ago. Kasi I saw one of your videos, you were explaining that this year is the anniversary, 10-year anniversary of the Renaissance with regards to Filipino wrestling.
Yes.
And that is the main reason why you're inviting everybody to check out Puso Wrestling happening this Saturday to find out what it's all about.
Yeah, I wanted to invite a lot of people who maybe don't know yet about Pinoy wrestling or want to know about Pinoy wrestling and Puso wrestling in general. But yes, we've been around for 10 years. And just to kind of like explain the struggle that we've had, we've been around for 10 years and still not a lot of people know about us. So I think it's because also that not a lot of Filipinos know about the wrestling that we have in the Philippines. A lot of people know about the WWE. But like we want to show them that, hey, we have our own homegrown flavor here, and we would like you to check it out, and hopefully you enjoy.
We're looking at some of your highlights here. Yung damit mo, I see some influences with regards to basketball. Like that's a jersey you're wearing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Lakers font pa tas may number.
You got
Tapos
mixed.
ito naman, bomber jacket. So, talk about your personality with regards to being a wrestler. How did you build this up? Kasi nga, as I mentioned in the intro, you have many names. Mr. Señorito, the Filipino Fighting Rooster. Paano ba nag-evolve itong character ni Jake De Leon?
Well, just to answer your question first about the basketball jersey and the
Yeah,
varsity jacket. As you know, I'm an athlete, but I'm also a very big basketball fan. I'm a Lakers fan, so that's why it's in Lakers font.
Okay.
I'm a huge Kobe fan. But also beyond that, beyond the color scheme and also the things I wear, if you see on some of my gear also, there's a lot of chicken, there's a lot of mascara masks.
Yes.
That's also because I'm from Bacolod, so shout out to all my fellow Bacolod nuns, my fellow Ilonggos.
Okay.
So I represent the chicken, which is basically is a big part of like Filipino culture, and more than just being a source of food, a source of protein. The chicken is also like a representation of our machismo in a way, because of all the cockfighting and everything. But also that's just to show my pride as a Filipino fighter, where I will not give up, even though kung talo ako, maging tinola ako, but if I win, I carry that pride everywhere.
Sorry nagulat lang ako sa pinalabas doon. Tino-torture mo yung babae.
Yeah. So in Pinoy wrestling and in Puso wrestling, we are very much open to the fact of like intergender pro wrestling because it started off early because we didn't have a lot of women back then. But now Puso Wrestling is proud to kind of boast that we are the biggest female roster in Southeast Asia. We have 5 amazing female competitors right now. We have Super P, Joya, Chelsea Marie, Crystal, and also Patricia Ligaya. So we're all just like I'd like to say that Puso Wrestling is on the forefront of wanting to have more women in the pro wrestling scene, especially around Southeast Asia. So we're very proud of that fact. But yes, when we started on, there weren't a lot of like other women. So like the men, obviously, and the women would get in there and like they would also challenge the men a lot. So yeah, we are very much for that equality, so to speak.
Super P was here a couple episodes back. Tapos yun nga, nakakabilib na may gauntlet match na with so many women wrestling. So you have the belt right there. Based on a jeepney?
Yeah, that was based on a jeepney. From the now defunct Manila Wrestling Federation. They're not around anymore. But yes, that's how we show how Pinoy we are. In Puso Wrestling and in MWF back then, we wanted to show off our pride as Pinoy people, Pinoy wrestlers. So a lot of our elements, if you watch the show, if you watch like an event, you'll see a lot of our characters are very much based off of like Pinoy references. So we have people like Fabio Makisig, who's maangas, who like he feels like he's from the streets. We have Nigel San Jose, who's a breakdancer, but also like because of that breakdancing background, has a very strong lower body and can like suplex everyone around. Obviously, we have Super P, we have El Catiponero, a lot of different characters that we have all scream how proud we are of being Filipino.
So you mentioned Stone Cold Steve Austin, but with your look, this is not an Austin persona.
No.
Kanino ka pinaka na-influence pagdating sa wrestling on the international scene?
In terms of like my influence, my main influence is a current WWE wrestler is AJ Styles.
AJ Styles.
So again, like being young and like watching TV, like I'm not sure if like Star Sports is still around, but like I was able to watch TNA back then, and then that's where I found out about AJ Styles.
Okay.
Up until now, like I watch a lot of AJ Styles matches. Is still a big influence, but also I was influenced by many other wrestlers. I was influenced by The Rock, obviously. I was influenced by John Cena. I was influenced by Rob Van Dam. So I take a lot of those influences from the pro wrestlers that I grew up liking, grew up idolizing, and you see the Jake De Leon in front of you right now.
Is it true that you had a chance to try out for the WWE?
Yes, I actually tried out for the WWE back in 2019.
Okay, how did it go?
It was the hardest 4 days of my life. So
where did it take place?
In China.
In China, wow.
So we were all flown to China. We did a 4-day training with essentially the current head coach of NXT, Matt Bloom.
Okay.
And there were a lot of other coaches also there from the WWE. So they took us around, did the basics with everyone. I'm glad. I would like to think that I showed how good a representation of Pinoy wrestling is, along with my former tag team partner, Ken Warren. Of course, Crystal also was there with me. Sadly, I was not chosen, but I'm happy to say that one of my previous opponents from Singapore, Dante Chen, was chosen. So like he's repping the Southeast Asian flag right now in the WWE, in NXT, and hopefully a lot more of us join him soon, whether that be in the WWE or like in other promotions like in Japan. And we just want to get out there. We want to build whatever we have here, but also we want to build the representation of Filipinos around the whole wrestling world.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
32, okay. So ang wrestling naman, mahaba yan eh. Like even Undertaker was wrestling until 50 years old.
Yeah.
So do you do anything aside from wrestling? You have a day job?
I have a day job. Actually, I work the graveyard shift. So after this, I'm going to be going to work.
Oh, wow. Salute to you, man. Napadaan ka pa dito to promote your event.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, lastly, invite everybody to check out Puso Wrestling this coming Saturday.
Of course, do I look at a camera in any way? But like, anyway, I would like to invite everyone to please come and watch Puso Wrestling, Pusong Pinoy on November 30. It's actually 2 days to go because it's going to be on Saturday, November 30, Brawl Pit Gym in Bulusan, QC. And hopefully I see you amigos and amigas there. You're going to be seeing me in a 3-way international match, JDL versus the world. Let's rep the Filipino flag together. The Filipino Fighting Rooster is here to raise the flag of Filipinos everywhere and show you all that we are meant for the pro wrestling world.
There you go, JDL, Jake
so
De Leon,
much,
thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you so much.
Magkatrabaho ka pa, and then you're going to get down to business this coming Saturday for Puso Wrestling. Thank you so much again, man.
So
Thank
much.
you.
Yep.
When the scorecard returns, we will break down two high-stakes NBA games, so be sure to keep your eyes on the prize. Welcome back to the scorecard. It's time to keep your eyes on the prize. We'll break down the upcoming matchups to deliver key insights that might just give you the edge you need to stay ahead of the game. On Saturday, November 30, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. Philippine time live at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, the Orlando Magic take on the Brooklyn Nets for the Emirates NBA Cup. The Orlando Magic come into this game with a record of 13-7 after a 95-84 win against the Charlotte Hornets. Franz Wagner led the way with 21 points, including 13 in the fourth quarter, while Cole Anthony and Moritz Wagner combined for 32 points and 16 rebounds off the bench. Despite shooting only 39% from the field, the Magic took advantage of Charlotte's 27 turnovers to score 33 points. On the other hand, the Brooklyn Nets entered this matchup with a record of 9-10, riding high after a thrilling 128-120 comeback win against the Golden State Warriors. Dennis Schroeder was sensational, scoring 31 points, including clutch three-pointers that sealed the game, while Cam Thomas added 23 points. Brooklyn overcame an 18-point deficit with resilient shooting, hitting 44.4% from beyond the arc despite missing multiple key players. With injuries affecting both teams, Brooklyn is slightly favored at a -2-point spread. The Nets rely on their home court advantage and Dennis Schroeder's recent hot form, but Orlando, led by Franz Wagner, has been tough on the road, making this game a potential battle down to the wire. The over-under for this game is set at 218.5 as both teams have shown the ability to score despite short-handed rotations. Key matchups include Schroeder and Cam Thomas versus Orlando's defensive stalwarts, as well as the bench contributions from both sides, which have been crucial in recent wins. Can the Nets hold strong at home and build on their comeback win, or will the Magic continue their road success and overcome their injuries for another victory? Next up at 9 a.m. Philippine time, live from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, it's the Boston Celtics versus the Chicago Bulls. The Boston Celtics continue to dominate the NBA with a record of 15-3, coming off a 126-94 rout against the Los Angeles Clippers. Jason Tatum led the charge with 20 points, while Peyton Pritchard added another 20. Kristaps Porzingis made his season debut, contributing 16 points and 2 blocks as Boston drained 22 three-pointers. The Celtics have won 6 straight and are firing on all cylinders from beyond the arc. The Chicago Bulls, meanwhile, come into this game with a record of 8-12 after a dominant 127-108 victory over the Washington Wizards. Nikola Vucevic recorded a double-double with 19 points and 12 rebounds, while Kobe White and Zach LaVine combined for 39 points. The Bulls are showing signs of strength on defense and beyond the arc, a key to their recent success. Boston is favored to win by 4 points heading into this matchup, thanks to their elite three-point shooting and depth on both ends of the floor. The over-under for this game is set at 238.5. Key matchups to watch include the Celtics' Jason Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis against Chicago's Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine. The Bulls will need a strong defensive performance to contain Boston's hot shooters and match their scoring pace. Can the Bulls protect their home court and derail Boston's winning streak, or will the Celtics' explosive offense prove too much to handle? That wraps up tonight's preview, so you can keep your eyes on the prize. We have updates though. In the Premier Volleyball League, Zeus Coffee secured their first winning streak in the PVL by defeating Galleries Tower with scores of 25-22, 25-16, and 25-19 in the All-Filipino Conference on Thursday at Phil Sports Arena. And then, in the PBA, Northport overcame an early deficit to dominate NLEX, winning 114-87 in the PBA 49th season Commissioner's Cup at the Ninoy Aquino Stadium. In the latter game, Magnolia Chicken Templados beat Blackwater Bossing 118-100. Before we go, think on this. From one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, he says, "The only thing you have to have is patience and an attitude that you aren't ever going to give up. And with that, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you again here tomorrow on The Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. This has been Anton Roxas. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Good night.